Hi, friends. It is June and it is time for our market update. We got a few things to talk about today. First of all, rates not going anywhere. Big surprise there. Two, buyers are putting in more mortgage applications than we've seen for quite a while. So buyers are getting a little BUY curious. And then inventory is up. Sellers are flocking to the market. And in order to sell in a market like this, you have to look better than your competition. You have to stand out. And so we're going to go over that a little bit today. First, we're going to just talk a little bit about rates because there's really no point in talking about it for more than a little bit. I have the CME Fed Watch tool here. We haven't looked at this in a while. They have the meetings that the feds will have throughout the rest of the year. The next meeting is coming up June 18th. They do probabilities of what rates are going to be like after they do that meeting. And there's a 99.9% probability that rates will remain unchanged. So not really a lot of news there, but at the end of the day, I think people are actually starting to just get used to the higher rate environment. The next graph I have shows that mortgage applications are up. You can see the spike on this graph back in 2021 when rates dropped significantly. And ever since then, mortgage applications have gone down till about last year and the beginning of this year. So rates have been high that entire time. And now we're starting to see that people are getting curious about the market because mortgage applications aren't necessarily buyers writing offers. It's people going in and seeing what they can get approved for. So that's good news. There's buyers out there that are curious about the market. So if you are curious about how to make moves in a high interest rate environment, you know who to talk to. And that leads us to where the market is right now, especially in Ada County and Canyon County. We have the active inventory here in the pending report. As you can see, we have more inventory on the market that we've had all year. It continues to rise. Pendings have flatlined. There's still buyers out there in the market writing offers, but we're seeing a bigger increase in inventory than we are in demand. And that is leading to a significant amount of price drops. People are having to drop price, sellers are having to drop price many times before they sell. So as you can see over here in the last week of May, 570 homes dropped price. The following week, 400 homes, and just last week, 460 homes. So anywhere from 18 to 20-ish% of our market is dropping price every week just to sell. So the good news for sellers is that buyers are still out in the market. We're still seeing about 1,400 pending contracts every week. So that just means that it's a steady, continuous rate of buyers picking things up. But with so many more options on the market, you have to be really smart about your marketing, your presentation, and especially your pricing. That leads me to the next graph I have here. This was really cool. So this is from the National Association of Realtors, and this is the importance of staging. And out here we have all the rooms that have been ranked as far as most important, somewhat important, or neutral. And I like to show this to my sellers because one of my favorite adages is the price that you set on your home will either sell your home or the home down the street. So if we have competition on the market like we do right now for sellers, what can you do to stand out? It's not always just price. It is presentation. You want to evoke a feeling for buyers, those buyers that are still out there. You want them to feel like your home is the one. Staging is a really crucial tool when it comes to creating an emotional response to buyers. And the living room, the primary bedroom, and the kitchen, you pretty much across the board seem to be the three most important spaces. So it can get expensive to stage. And if sellers are a little resistant to that, we can just talk to them about maybe focusing on the three rooms that make the biggest impact when it comes to presentation. The next thing I like to show my sellers here is days on market and then what your price expected, what you'll sell for will be. So this graph here basically has 0 to 7 days, your second week, your third week, 30 days on the market, then 60, 90, and 120 days. So within each of these brackets, homes are cutting price a certain percentage in order to sell. And so the difference we have from 2019 to now is that the longer you are on market, the more of a price cut you're going to likely see. What's interesting about this is if you look at a home that could potentially sell for 525,000, but market value or maybe slightly below market value is about 500,000. The home that lists at 500,000, just slightly below market average, even if it takes 30 days to sell, will sell for about $467,000, right? And so we look at a home that, that seller is like, I want to get the most amount out of it. Let's try to shoot for 25,000 more. So that same home, if listed at 525,000, which is kind of the top of the market range, and they sit for 120 days or more, they will ultimately sell for 450,000. The first home priced at 500 sold for 467, and the second home priced at 525 sold for 450. That is a $17,000 loss. So just by trying to gain $25,000 more when listing the home, ultimately they sold for $17,000 less than if they would have just listed it slightly below market average at the time. This is really powerful data because, buyers are having a great opportunity out there right now. Those who are willing to come into a high interest rate environment are able to get some closing costs, price cuts, things like that. So buyers, be out there, be paying attention to that. You're seeing a lot of homes that are also coming back on market. So buyers will go under contract on your house. You'll be like, hey, yay. Then they'll get you for the inspection. So if you've been on market for a little bit of time and then you get an offer, you could potentially see those buyers get really demanding during the inspection. And with so many other options out there, it's easy for them to cancel and just go to the house down the street. So there's so many things that sellers need to do right now that make their house not only stand out, but how to foolproof the transaction. Pre-inspections, things like that can be super important. So I think it's kind of interesting to look at all of this and then just like the general feeling of the market right now. We had fewer home sales in 2023 and 2024 than in 2008 and 1995, two of the biggest housing crises. And this year we are on track to do about the same amount of transactions, So just an overall flat line in the market. This is good in a sense that if you can find a space in the market right now that is affordable for you to jump in, you can get in while there's options for you. I promise you, if interest rates were to drop below 6%, we would see buyer demand go up significantly. That inventory that we have right now would probably get eaten up. So things to think about in June. And we are having our backyard concert this week, Friday, June 13th. So I'm really excited to see all of y'all out there. If you would like an invite to next year's concert, please go ahead and leave a comment in the comments below. And we'll make sure to get you out there for next year. Thank y'all. Have a great June.